The question is, like, I'm going right now on my computer. Like, I don't even know if you can see me on my computer. If I can see you on the computer, that's the worst part.
I can see you now.
I can see you, Spoonie. Well, I can see your screen.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even know how I can do. Can we not see you here on my? Okay, put a thumbs up in the chat, whoever's watching. Can you see Spoonie's screen also, or can you only see my screen? It's weird. I feel like we should have tested this before going live together. That's on me. That's on me. Yeah, Vanessa only sees me. What happens if I do this? And it's not going to enter a stream, is it? Okay.
Maybe it's on my end.
There we go. Oh, can you see us now? Yeah, you know what? I think now we can be seen together because we're on my phone. So I think now is good. Just pop this up right here. All right, so now it's good to know that if we're going to go live together, we might as well do it from our phones. That would make a lot more sense, I think.
Yeah, at least until we figure this out more.
Yeah, exactly. Is there anybody watching? If anybody's watching, please give us a thumbs up.
No, it shows 0 audience on my end.
Yeah, me too.
Wonder if I can type in the chat. No.
Can't, eh? See, I can do go in the chat. I don't know what the heck's going on here. This is weird. Wow, this is odd. There's got to be a way to do this, like, without having to use the phone, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is strange.
Darn it.
Like, I'm looking at the connection for it saying excellent connection. Hmm. Oh, there's Vanessa. She sees it now.
So I can see the chat, but I guess I can't respond to it through.
You can't? Oh, you know what? I can't respond to it through the phone either. That's why I've got my computer opened up just in case for the live chat.
Mm-hmm. That's a good idea.
I'm gonna be right back. I'm just gonna get my stand that I use for my camera, and I'll just so I can pop the phone up. I'll be right back.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm back. I have returned from the abyss of wherever it was that I was. You know what's weird is that the lighting in here when I have it on my computer, because of the shitty integrated camera, It gets so like bright, it gets bright, but then when I'm on the phone, yeah, you see, there you go. It's a lot better. It's so much better. All right, all right. Let's go live. Let's talk free comic book day. I need to put my light back on.
Wow, this thing cannot focus.
Yeah, no, but you know what though? I can see the gist of it. What I'm looking at though. Let me see if I can get the free comic book day website open also. Okay.
Just
That's
because
what I found in my comics. Sorry, what's that, Sweeney?
I was just saying there's a ton of stuff this year, and
Yeah.
I just wanted to be able to go over all of it. That
Yeah.
stupid thing.
You want to see what I found in my comics the other night? Like, I didn't even know I had this. Look at that.
Nice. Oh, it's a dark horse too, so it's actually going to be good.
You know, the funny thing is, when I pulled that book out, I thought right away of the quote from Arnold Schwarzenegger: "You are one ugly son of a bitch."
Yeah.
Yeah. So like this is really funny because like this is the stack before we get into like the books. This is like a stack of all the old free comic books that I had from like years prior. So obviously, like one of my favorite free comic books of all time. But yeah, it's just like I keep accumulating all these free comic books. I don't ever throw them out. So it's like I feel like I'm gonna need a separate long box at some point just for all the free comic book day comics.
Yeah, they really add up.
Feel free if you want Spoonie to share on your socials. Feel free to share with anybody.
Yeah, I'll probably post this like later on, just like, oh, hey, there was a thing. Excuse me. Just still.
If that's the case, if we gotta do it live from the phone every time, whatever. We'll just
Well,
do it live.
this is obviously we're some growing pains or whatever. We're just still figuring this out.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, even just trying to get the invite and stuff took a minute.
Yeah, exactly. We were supposed to go live at 1:15, and it's like, oh yeah, you want to go live at 1:15? No, no, no way, man.
So I don't know if you want to wait, see if anybody else shows up, or we can just go ahead. Do you think anybody's gonna show up?
It's gonna drain up so much battery life.
Yeah, no kidding. Actually, I should probably plug my thing in now if I can.
I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna plug in my phone. I'm gonna unplug my ring light because it's taking up too much light. Whomever's watching, guys, give us a brief moment. We're just gonna plug in our phones. We'll be right back. Don't worry. Next time we go live, Spoonie and I, because I don't think it's gonna be the only time. We'll be better prepared for next time. Trust me on that one. All right. There we go. Okay. Alrighty. I'm surprised there's no Tick free comic books this year. There's always a free Tick comic book every year, so it's like I'm surprised. Okay. All right. I went on through this on my channel a month or two ago, but Spoonie and I decided it'd be fun to go and do this live as well. Take a look at some of the comics. He's got it scrolling on his screen. You're just gonna see looking at this ugly face of mine this whole time. So I prefer Spoonie's setup, to be honest with you. Yeah, so like you were saying before, Spoonie, a lot of free comic books this year. I don't know if you're speaking or if you're muted, Spoonie, but can you guys hear me?
Oh, sorry, I was muted.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe I had some audio issues.
No. I think when I was plugging my thing in, I accidentally hit the thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say you've got great titles like Unicorn Crush here. Another Phoebe and her unicorn adventure.
I figured you'd like that one, Spoonie. There's this other one too, right here, Witches of Brooklyn. It just looks so great. Looks so great.
Oh, they seem to be revealing some of the images. Because I remember when I checked for this earlier, like in the week, this listing for the Johnny Quest, it was all just kind of like a black cover.
Yeah.
And I just
Yeah,
said Johnny Quest. Now they're showing like more of the silhouettes. Although we know what the Johnny Quest characters look like. I don't know why this is supposed to be a surprise.
I know, right? Like they even show them sometimes in Scooby Doo. So it's like if you really don't know what they look like, you don't feel like searching. Yeah, I mean it's not even that special to cover either. That's the thing. I don't know how I feel about Johnny Quest though. I could never like. Were you ever able to get into Johnny Quest at all?
I like the original 60s cartoon. Like it just obviously we're growing up after it, but I feel like you can tell that it was different than other stuff that was on the air at the time. It did feel a little more mature.
That's fair. That makes sense.
But I think its best legacy is have you seen Venture Brothers?
Yeah, no, I haven't watched Venture Brothers. I've heard so much about it though.
Okay, well it's pretty hilarious, and it's basically a parody of this concept.
Okay, I see.
I would recommend it if like it's not something like a must see, but it's definitely something that I think is entertaining enough to check out.
Okay. Trying to figure out like my screen is. I'm just rotating my camera now. Oops.
Yeah, sorry everybody. There's some growing pains here.
I promise you guys, next time it'll be better. Next time, I promise. Okay.
So, yeah, I am surprised scrolling through the list to see there was no Tick this year.
Yeah, and you know what's even funnier too. Actually, I forgot to mention when I said that there's no Tick. I think I can consider you between the two of us. I'm more of a Marvel guy. You're more of the DC guy. And what's really funny is that there's no DC comics this year whatsoever.
Yeah,
It
there
really
is.
baffles my mind.
It's just the Free Comic Book Day special edition, and I think there's one for their young audience or whatever, and there's one for Mad, which is a DC publication.
Okay.
Young adult Free Comic Book Day selection, middle grade. I don't know what the hell that means. And
okay, so I
then
missed that.
Mad.
So there is DC.
Yeah. But they're not showing you anything about it because usually DC, this is when they kind of it's almost like a zero issue to their next big event. Like this is
Yeah.
kind of show you what's going to be going on over the next year, what stories they're going to be doing. So yeah, they typically they want to avoid spoilers, so they don't release anything of the cover. Although I'm sure it's probably out there online. You could probably find it.
Yeah. You know what's weird is like I'm looking at the free comic book day. I don't think I'm.
Hmm. Now this is going to be cool. The what is this? The Atlas Comics Library, Marvel and
Yes.
Fantagraphics.
That I want to see so bad. Like I want to pick that one up.
The Fantagraphics is like you see on the cover there. It's that old kind of classic sort of horror stuff. I guess they recently published, partnered with Marvel for the publishing of it. They put out a book like 20 years ago, and it's called like Destroy the Civilized Planets. Just it was a reprint of Fantagraphics from this one particular guy. I forget the name of it. I can look this up for like next time or whatever. But he has it really kind of highlights the bizarreness of those like sort of 40s and 50s era like horror comics and stuff like that. Like there's this one point where the guy he captures like a bunch of mobsters and then he makes their skeletons come out and dance around or something. Like I don't remember how that actually stops criminals, but apparently it does.
You know what it reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of Tales from the Crypt if you talk about it like that. Or no, sorry. There was three different imprints. There was Tales from the Crypt. There was it Tales of Suspense, Two Fisted Tales. So those Tales of the Crypt must have was that before the Atlas or did that spawn from basically those Atlas comics?
You know what? Who knows which came first? I think they're all kind of copying each other there.
All I can say is that Tales from the Crypt gave us one of the greatest TV shows of all time. That's
Agreed. Even the cartoon was decent.
yes. Yeah. So many people have asked me, like I did a video a few years back, Spoonie, before you and I started talking to each other, and I just it was back in my I call it my shitty era of making videos before when I had low quality cameras, and I did a whole review, like unboxing review of the Tales from the Crypt complete series box set. It was one of the last presents my mom got me, and I had some people ask me in the comments, so what came first, the cartoon or the TV series? And I was like, I mean, the cartoon spawned after the TV series. I mean, and
Mm-hmm.
that's one of those weird things that I don't understand. Like, I get the comic books weren't exactly for kids, but the TV show on HBO was not for kids whatsoever. So I don't know whose bright idea
Oh,
was to
absolutely
oversell.
not. And especially those two movies. Was it
Yeah,
Demon Knight and Bordello of Blood?
yeah. Do you know there
That
was a third
second
one
one,
too?
I don't see how anybody could mistake that as being a kids movie.
I know, I know. Wait, okay, here's one last funny thing about Tales of the Crypt before we move on to more comics. Demon Knight, I consider that one of the greatest campy horror movies ever made. Bordello of Blood, to be honest, I just think that movie's garbage. But there's a
Mm.
third movie called Ritual, which takes place in Jamaica, and it's like in the movie, the Crypt Keeper has dreadlocks at one point and speaking in a Jamaican accent. It's so
Uh,
bad that it's labeled a Tales from the Crypt movie, but on the DVDs it just says Ritual. Tales from the Crypt is like so ashamed of that movie they don't want to put their branding on it.
yeah, it sounds like there's a reason I hadn't heard about it till just now.
But funny thing also, one last, sorry, this is one last thing. One thing that got me into Tales from the Crypt, actually, I used to sneak away and watch it as a kid. My parents didn't know that until I was an adult. But I didn't really know too much, right? And it wasn't until I realized, like, later on in my adulthood, I don't know if you guys remember the show Roswell on the WB back in the early 2000s. The sheriff on that show, he was on a couple of episodes of Tales from the Crypt, and he was even in I think he had cameos in the two movies. So I actually really used to love that show Roswell. I don't know why.
Yeah,
And
I
so
remember the show. I used to watch it, but I can't picture the sheriff right now.
Sheriff Valenti, he was you remember, okay, in Demon Knight. In the movie Demon Knight, he's the one that plays Breaker. The guy was carrying the cross before he gives it to Jada Pinkett towards the end. That's the
Okay, yeah. I think I know who that is.
pretty cool actor, him. I'm gonna say it right now. I think Vanessa's watching the live stream. I don't know if you can see it on your pages there, but Vanessa's going straight for One Piece.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. I know that that's probably gonna be a really popular one. I think she's also gonna go for Street Fighter, and I don't know why, but do you see that Unico Awakening at the bottom, which I think is another perfect one for you, Spoonie?
Which one?
I think it's at the bottom of the page, Unico Awakening.
Oh yeah. I remember seeing that. What is it?
I think she's gonna grab that one too. Are you scrolling on your phone or tablet?
I'm aimed at my TV and I'm using my Xbox browser too.
That's probably why we're not seeing the same type of thing and why it's not the same order. Okay, that makes sense now.
Yeah, I'm sure the presentation is. I did see that Unico thing. Where did it go? Oh,
comics. It's somewhere.
Oh, Encanto.
Yeah, I saw it in Canto. Oh, do you have it separated by silver and gold, or is it just all hodgepodge together?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because the way I'm looking at it on the browser
It just says it's the full lineup.
Okay.
Yeah, because they do have the tiers. I forgot about that. Complete listing, including the 12 gold, 36 silver. Yeah. Do you know anything about this? The Worlds of James Tinian IV? Boom.
I'm trying to find that one. Yeah, I saw that one. I'm not too sure about that. I think that's I know he's a really popular. He's really popular. I'm just trying to find the book if I can see it. I know I saw it before.
Yeah, it looks like they're blacked out the cover.
They did, huh?
For right now.
Oh,
I know he's done a lot of Batman stuff in the DC Rebirth. I think he wrote Detective Comic for 4 years or something like that.
Okay. I know that he's really popular with that whole something is killing the children. I think that's him, right?
Oh, is it? Yeah, might be.
I don't think I've read any of his stuff though. That's the thing.
Well, he's worked with Scott Snyder on a lot of the Batman stuff. Apparently, when he was doing like the what is it, the Batman Eternal?
Okay, yeah.
And I think he also wrote some of the other Batman family books while Snyder was doing his Batman run.
Okay. If you check your Twitter, I sent you a link to what the cover I'm seeing on Free Comic Book Day. Because you said yours shows it blacked out, so I sent you the link. That's the cover I'm seeing. I don't know how accurate that's gonna be. Oh, by the way, I don't know if he's watching or if he's going to watch later on. I know it's his birthday tomorrow. I just want to give a shout out. Happy birthday to my friend Jay.
All right, Jay, happy birthday.
I asked him if he was going to do Free Comic Book Day. He said no. It's his birthday tomorrow, and it's his daughter's on Sunday. So happy birthday!
Nice.
Have a great birthday. Okay. To be honest with you, I think Spoonie. If you're looking at the books, I think on yours they're probably blacked out. The two books I'm looking forward to the most, like bar none, is going to be the Energon Universe special. I'm looking forward to seeing what that's going to be. I read the first Transformers comic from Skybound, and it was pretty good. I haven't really caught up on the rest, but the Energon special, Universe special, seems like it's going to be really interesting. And I'm also looking forward to. I mean, it's no surprise. I mean, if you look at my backdrop there, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Free Comic Book Day.
Yeah. Now, do you have any idea what era of Turtles this is going to be?
I don't know. And when I'm taking a look also at the little read up of it, it just basically says that it's been 4 decades since Eastman and Laird released their very first issue of the Turtles in 1984 May. So this month kicks off the 40th anniversary.
Oh, so it's probably kind of more like the original era.
Yeah.
Just
It does
because the
say here, like,
logo kind of looks like a Nickelodeon thing.
yeah. Actually, if you're able to take a look on the browser afterwards, the cover itself has the Night Watcher on it. I think that's supposed to be Raphael.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it does say that there's a. I mean, I don't know. I think it's Raphael. If I did reread that one shot properly, I think that's who that is. So I got so many Nerd Turtles comics that I've been reading. So, but it also says that there's a special prelude to the new miniseries, straight from the mind of Junie Ba, who worked on Harley Quinn Black and White, Black, White, Redder, and Monkey Meat. So
Sorry,
it's
what was the
from
name
the
of the
mind of
artist?
Junie Ba, Juniba, who
Hmm.
worked on Harley Quinn, Black, White, and Redder, and then a comic called Monkey Meat, which I'm not sure what that is. Oh, you know, okay, it says more down here. I didn't see this last time. It does say that there is going to be there's going to be a brand new tale also told in classic IDW style. Okay, so yeah, no, that doesn't really answer our question if it's going to be old or new. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. And of course, Marvel puts out their big books every year. Like you got the Ultimate Spider-Man, and I know
Yeah.
that Blood Hunt was just released. I think this week. So you've got a
That now
Spider-Man
the
comic
cover
day.
for this Blood Hunt free comic book day looks awesome,
It
but
really does.
I have not liked the X-Men since Jonathan Hickman did that House of X, Powers of X thing in like 2017 or whatever it was.
Yeah, you know what? You're not the only one because a lot of people have said that the last time X-Men was good was when Hickman worked on it. So
I don't know,
I
it's
don't know.
just like like the basic idea of like all the mutants coming together, even the villains and stuff, having to reluctantly like they're being persecuted. It's just they've done this so many times over the last decade or so. There was I forget what led to it when it was like Avengers versus X-Men, and the X-Men were living on their own little island off the coast of California at the time.
Oh yeah.
And before that, they had the Genosha Island that was nuked by a Sentinel in Grant Morrison's run.
Have you watched X-Men
I don't
the
know. I'm
Next
just
Generation
not that
episodes yet?
interested in seeing what the X-Men are up to anymore.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. The last time I personally bought into an X-Men comic book series, and I couldn't even get past the first two issues. I only bought it because I think the artwork was nice, and that was it. Was X-Men versus Inhumans.
Yeah, that was not well. It's because the Inhumans are not good characters. It's like
That's fair. That's fair.
the Eternals. That movie was never going to be good.
Yeah. I still haven't seen that movie either, so
Dude, you're not missing anything.
that's what
Like
everyone keeps saying.
I've heard a lot of people talk shit about, a lot of the Marvel movies recently, and I liked the Quantumania, the Ant-Man and Wasp. I like the Doctor Strange, even though I didn't watch WandaVision or a half dozen other prequel series. Um, Shang-Chi stunk.
You didn't
It
like Shang-Chi?
wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. But Eternals it's forgettable, and that's probably the worst thing a movie could be.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, I thought. See, Vanessa is a huge martial arts fan. Like, she loves the martial arts movies. So for her, she loved Shang-Chi. And I thought, as a popcorn flick, it's a mindless popcorn flick. But yes, I
Hmm.
can I can understand what you mean. Bring it like it doesn't really bring too much to the table in terms of advancing the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I think that's the problem with the MCU is that they're banking on so many of these stories that nobody cares about. That's the problem. Like Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, I agree with you. I was enjoying it, but then what really, really made me stop enjoying the movie, though, however, was when they introduced Modoc. Modoc looked super cool until that
Yeah.
mask came off. And that's where they lost me. Like the whole rest of the movie, where they tried to make it have him redeem himself and be like a buddy type movie. I don't know. It lost me from there. But Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, yes, I love that movie. That was a really good one. I think if you take a look at Marvel's movies in the last few years, I think probably Multiverse of Madness is probably their best movie from the last 5 years.
Well, I like that it felt a little different than most of the other Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Like it was the first one was directed by Scott Derrickson, and he did
He's a
all
very
those
good
like he
director
did the
too.
Sinister movies,
Yep.
and so he's comes from like a horror background. And
Also, yeah, I
apparently, he
absolutely
walked
love.
away from the sequel because he did not like the things that the studio was mandating be included in the film. But what I didn't realize until I watched the movie was they replaced him with Sam Raimi.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, that's probably the perfect choice if you want to keep like a horror vibe, but center it in a superhero world.
Exactly. I mean, I've said it many times. Evil Dead is my favorite horror franchise, and it's all Sam
Yeah.
Raimi. So, but Scott Derrickson. I mean, Sinister, the first movie, albeit Bagul is not the most memorable horror character of all time. Sinister had a very compelling and very interesting story. I also really loved the movie he put out. It was not last year, the year before, The Black Phone. Another one that had Ethan Hawke
I
and
haven't
Bradley
seen that
Cooper.
one.
It's good, man. I really highly recommend that film. And it's based on a short story by Joe Hill. So Joe Hill,
Oh, okay, cool.
yeah. I mean, look,
Stephen
Stephen King,
King's son,
Joe Hill.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And he's enough like his. The funny thing is, Joe Hill is enough like his father that he's also different than his father at the same time. If that makes any kind of sense.
Yeah, I haven't very much of Joe Hill's. I think I read that. Is it called Skeleton Key?
Is it that or is it Lock and Key?
That's it, Lock and
Lock
Key.
and Key. Yeah,
I
yeah. I
think I
read
read
that
the
one.
first
Yeah.
volume of that, and it was pretty decent.
Yeah. So, Nosferatu 2 is pretty good. Not like the vampire. It's the license plate N0S4A2.
Right? Yeah, yeah.
With Christmas Land. That was actually fairly decent also. We also got
No,
the
I
re
haven't. Like, I know there's that Nosferatu show. I don't know much about it in general.
Honestly, it's the story of I forget the character's name. He goes around his Rolls Royce Phantom called Nosferatu, and he brings people to his Christmas land, and they become like these immortal little vampire things. It's really a mind trip, man. Of course, you got the annual Doctor Who comic book. I love Doctor Who, and everyone is like so in for the new Doctor. They're still labeling him the 15th Doctor, but now that Disney is running Doctor Who, they're like, oh, it's the first season all over again. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
you can't just call this the 15th Doctor and be like, okay, new season. If you want to do that, just revitalize the whole show. The other thing that's really bothering me is I'm being very careful with what I say here because I am super excited for a Black Doctor. Okay, I'm super excited. I was super excited that there was a female Doctor last time around, so I'm really excited for a different race Doctor. And honestly,
I'm surprised it took this long. Honestly,
exactly. And I think it's
did
pretty
you
cool.
ever?
Also,
There was a BBC show called Hustle.
I don't think I've ever seen that one. Was it like
Oh,
that?
okay. Well, anyways, the main character in there, is a black guy, and I thought he would have made an amazing doctor. But I think at this point, he's definitely aged out of the role.
That's fair. The
Well,
other,
that's not true because he had Peter Capaldi, and he's older.
yeah, exactly. The only other person that I would have seen, who I would have wanted to play Doctor Who is the actor from the IT Crowd. The actor played, I think his name was Moss, the character with the afro and the glasses. If you ever watched IT
Oh my
Crowd,
god.
I think he would have been a great fit for Doctor Who also.
Yeah, actually, I can see that. I think that would work.
Super weird and super outgoing and very
Mhm.
technical with how he speaks. I think it would have been perfect. But I think this guy might do a very good role. And like I said, he's he's the first Black Doctor, but he's also the first gay Doctor, which you've got two qualities right there. And I think that's amazing. My only problem is that people are tuning into Doctor Who now because he's a gay Black Doctor, and I'm like, don't tune into the show just because of his identity, because of who he is. Tune into Doctor Who because you like Doctor Who. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's what's a little bit bothering me on
Well,
that
and I
side.
always thought like you've got Captain Jack Harkness who
Yeah.
perfectly embodies this. They come from like a future and different galaxies where
Yeah.
I mean, like Captain Jack was having sex with aliens, robots, all kinds of stuff. Like
Exactly.
binary male female was so limited compared to what else is out there in the universe.
And I think Captain Jack is one of one of the best characters ever from Doctor Who.
Oh, I love
And
him.
you know what? Yeah, and I've had so many people who've told me that they've met John Barrowman in real life, and they're like, he's such an awesome guy. I was like, I'm jealous that people have got to meet him.
No, he seems like the kind of guy that appreciates the fans.
Yeah, exactly. At my work, like I work for the bank, and one of my colleagues at one point was telling me that he met John Barrowman. He was as a joke, he's like, "I want you to touch my butt in the photo," and John Barrowman was like, "I'll do it." I was like, "That's pretty funny." Take a look at this one down here, Ultra Duck. I don't know if you can see it. I don't know where it's
Yeah,
placed.
I've seen it.
Does this not look like Superman mixed with Darkwing Duck? That's the
Yeah, I
vibes
got
I
that
get.
vibe right away. Now I can see in the corner, it looks like this is done by Umberto Ramos,
Yeah,
and it's definitely got that kind of style that he has. It's not for everybody. Um, I've seen books where I didn't like it, and then I've seen books where it worked.
yeah.
Like
It's one of these
he
things
did
that I think.
Spider-Man and he did Wolverine, and I thought his style worked well there for when there was like action,
Yeah,
but it his characters are a little too cartoony for me to just have like, oh, they're sitting there having dialogue or whatever.
no, that's true. It's true. See, but then you take Ryan Otley, who worked on Invincible for so many years, who does that cartoony style, and it just
Yeah.
fucking works because like I think that's what I think is amazing with Invincible, especially with the cartoon, is that you're sucked into this world of like, oh look, it's a cartoony, it looks like a Saturday morning cartoon superhero, and then you get hit with all the violence and blood and gore, and you're like,
Hmm.
this is fucking awesome.
No, it's nice. It's nice to kind of start to see the West do that for a little while, where innocuous looking thing, and then it ends up being like ultra dark.
Yeah,
Like there's been a number of, what do they call them, magical girl stories, like Sailor Moon type things, where like these girls turn into these like magical princesses,
yeah,
but then they end up getting involved in really brutal fights and getting like massacred, and there's like a ton of blood and stuff.
yeah,
I haven't seen them, but I've heard about it.
yeah. I Magical Girl. To be honest, I Vanessa watches Sailor Moon, so that's what we stick to. And, that's the extent of my Magical Girl, except for a movie from 20 years ago, which I'm probably gonna do a movie night of in September. Of this movie called Cutie Honey. Weirdest fucking anime, man. Weirdest fucking Japanese live action movie I've ever seen in my whole life. But
Hmm.
it's like if it was just Sailor Moon by herself fighting against all these. If you want a weird movie, Spoonie, check out Cutie Honey. It's odd, like it really is.
All right, I gotta keep an eye out for that.
But I mean, like talking about going full dark, it's like Berserk, for example. That whole storyline is just dark and violent, but then you get to the last episode, and my gosh, man, it goes from like, okay, it's a medieval fantasy, there's a lot of violence, yeah, you know that's gonna happen. But then when you get to the last few moments of that final episode and then that ultimate betrayal happens, the violence is just amped up to the max right there, man.
Yeah.
I think to this day, that's why Berserk, I really feel like Berserk knocked it out of the park with everything in terms of story, in terms of animation, in terms of how we can go from being bloody and gruesome to being a love story. I just think Berserk hits it on all the marks, and I think that's why to this day it still stands the test of time as one of the greatest, not just mangas but animes of all time.
Yeah, no, I heard, I haven't seen the newest version of Berserk, the, what do they call it, Memorial Edition.
No, I haven't seen this
Um
either.
And then there was one that came out in the like 2010s or something that I've heard is really awful. It was done with a lot of computer animation. Like it wasn't full CG or anything like that, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't
I saw
know.
like
I
the
just heard
blurred
that
versions.
it's a bad adaptation.
Yeah, I think those are the Golden Egg arc films. I've seen all three of them because I watched the original anime, and then I was like, okay, well, I want to watch the movies. And yes, it's very CG heavy, very CG heavy, and there's a lot of stuff cut out. So you like, Guts and Casca becoming into a relationship. It's explored a little bit more in the manga and anime, but in the movies, I think they cut that down a little bit. But the second and third seasons that were exclusive to Crunchyroll of Berserk, I think they're continuations of those movies. And you want to talk about an absolutely amazing manga and anime with completely shitty revitalization and sequels? Berserk at the same time. Because season 2 and
Yeah.
season 3 of Berserk were absolute garbage. I could not get through them whatsoever. They introduced these characters that are like magical characters, and I don't give a shit about them, man. I just want to see Guts spilling the guts of demons. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you're not gonna go out for free comic book day tomorrow then?
I have no plans. This is my wife. She has the weekend off before next week's pretty crazy for her. So we're thinking we just want to like have a low key weekend.
Makes sense.
If
Yeah.
I'm near a store, I definitely will pop in this weekend. I just right now have no plans.
Okay. Okay. No,
I
that's
can
fair.
always go later on in the week, and there's usually still, books and stuff left over.
Okay. I mean, like I said, if anything, let me know if there's any of these books that interest you. And I think you said there's nothing really particular that interests you, but if there's anything, let me know, and I can see if I can pick one up for you, or one or two, depending, what my
Well,
shop
like
is.
I said, or maybe I didn't say, the DC stuff is usually like a preview for their like, oh, this is our big storyline running this year, and it's always reprinted in the collection when they get around to putting that out.
Yeah.
And I don't buy monthlies anymore. I wish I could. I just can't keep up with the release schedule. I feel bad about like having the LCS have like a stack of like 50 books waiting for me to come pick up. So I'll just buy the collected trades.
I mean, if anybody watches any of my check swing comic book haul videos that I do monthly, you really see that when it comes to my comic books, apart from like one or two, modern comics here and there, I really stick to Spawn and Ninja Turtles. And even at that, there's like too much Spawn and too much Ninja Turtles these days too. So it's like it is really hard to keep up on. There's the new Last Ronin 2 series going on, and I haven't even read the first issue yet. So I'm more like trying to find also old comics. That's like my thing. I know Kalazia said that he doesn't buy like you. He doesn't buy physicals anymore. He goes with the digital, but he only goes with Spawn. I've got a problem where I prefer getting the comics themselves because there's just something about that physical copy to me. I don't know what it is, but
You know what, I've read a fair amount of digital comics, and it's not the same feeling. Like being able to like flip back in your hand a couple pages,
yeah,
maybe because there's like a visual detail in the art you missed or a
yeah,
particular
exactly.
line of dialogue. It's a lot easier than having to keep clicking through screens to get to the one you want.
No, exactly. I agree. I agree. And I mean, look, I have nothing wrong with digital comics, and I think if people like digital comics, that's really cool too. But yes, I agree. There's something about flipping through the pages and like, oh, look at the ad, because I don't know if there's ads in digital comics, right? Especially like in the old comics when you see like the ads, and I don't know. There's just something nice to me when you open up the comic book and like it's just for me that's just it brings me back to a simpler time of like when I was a kid, when I used to read comic books all the time, just sitting there waiting for my parents to do what they had to do, and just sitting there, reading my comic book, or going to the corner store while my parents are getting stuff and just looking at the comic book. And it's always for me, it's always going to be about the physical copies.
That might just be because we're getting old. I think the like if you're a kid that grew up alongside like having an iPhone and stuff like that, it might feel more natural for you to just read the ebook.
Yeah, exactly. But also, I think they might be a little cheaper too, if I'm not mistaken, the digital comics too. So I get that
Oh
too. You're
yeah,
also
because
saving
there's no
money.
printing cost.
Exactly. You know, you go to a comic book shop and you're gonna grab a comic book nowadays here in Canada. The cheapest comic book you can get is probably like from Image Comics $4, if not $5 where we live in Canada. And then when you have the double sized issues, you know, usually in the United States they're $10. And a lot of times here in Canada, those ones that are $10 a unit US, or sorry, $7.99 US, my bad, are usually like $10 Canadian. So it's like I try to stay away from the double sized issues because most of the time they're one shots and they don't really bring too much to the story. If it's really something important, really something special, I will grab it. Like the whole Wolverine versus Predator, I have the first issue, which was one of those books, and I have a couple of. I still have the other four at my shop, and I'm gonna grab them. And I absolutely loved the first issue of Wolverine Predator. I don't know, it's kind of expensive. The book, that's the problem.
I can see that Valiant Comics is trying to come back from the dead yet again.
Yep.
Chris, what is
Valiant's
this? So
always
like
trying.
fifth attempt?
I know. I know.
I feel bad. Like the characters are good. I recognize everybody except for one on there.
I
You
see.
got what? Exo Man of War,
Yep.
Bloodshot, Ninjak, and
Oh, that's Livewire.
some woman.
That's Livewire.
Oh,
How do I know? How do I know? Because when I started dating Vanessa, I picked up Livewire for some reason. I picked up the book and she was like, "Hey, she's got hair similar to me."
nice.
Still have the book. So.
No, I feel bad because like they had some cool books.
Yes.
Vin Diesel tried to help launch the line a couple years ago with that Bloodshot movie.
I think that killed it though. I really do. To be honest with you, like I think the
I'm
best.
surprised because I thought at some point they were bought by Marvel, but I guess that was just like crossover. Yeah, because they actually had a video game, Iron Man, Exo Manowar,
Yeah, that's
doing
true. In the
something.
'90s, yeah, that's true. They also had that. No offense to the company, but that Bat in the Sun who did that Ninjak versus the Valiant Universe. I watched that whole thing and I was like, this is dumb. Me personally, the characters though, like the actors that they chose to play the characters, fantastic. Like they fit the role so well. Jason David Frank, when he played Bloodshot, I was like, okay, this is Bloodshot personified, you know. But the story was, and the guy who always does this, he does all the superhero beatdowns. I think his name is Aaron Shanky or something like that. He always plays the Joker in his films. He always plays Nightwing, so he's always like the center of attention. So there's a spoiler at the end, like there's a teaser at the end where there's leading up to the next villain, which that storyline never came up. But he was going to be the ultimate villain, and this movie that they keep teasing, Jason David Frank's last movie, the which Vanessa keeps saying they're never going to release that damn movie, and they should just at this point they should just leave it alone. I don't know if you ever heard of this, The Legend of the White Dragon. This was Jason David Frank's last film that he worked on, and it was supposed to be like a darker, adult, grown-up version of the Power Rangers. So he's coming
Yeah, I
back as like
remember
the
hearing
Storm
about that.
Ranger. Yeah, and the guy Aaron Shanky is supposed to be the villain. So it's like I don't watch Bat in the Sun anymore because this guy inserts himself as one of the main characters in all of his projects. I'm like, I get it, dude, I get it. But if you have the money to pay actors, stop. Like, there's other people that can play the Joker. There's other people who can play Nightwing. You know what I mean? If you're the director, like, take the step back, dude. It's not all about you. I know for a fact that if I was making movies, I would just direct. I wouldn't want to act in the movies. Not if somebody said to me, "You want to have a stupid, dinky little cameo as like Kevin Smith when he was in Daredevil?" You know, as was it Foggy Nelson? No, Foggy Nelson was somebody else. But Kevin Smith played a lab tech in the Daredevil movie with Ben Affleck. and I think
Yeah.
it produced the movie. So it's just like a dinky little cameo that he had. That's the thing that I would want to do. But yeah, maybe the Valiants might be good. I mean, it's a shame because they've always had some pretty interesting storylines. But you're right, they always like die and then they come back and then they die and they come back. So it's like I kind of hope that they
Like
find
I
a
feel
formula
like
with this.
they tried to reboot it in like 2013, and then before that they tried to do it in like 2008 or 2005, and
Yeah, yeah.
at this point I really think Marvel or DC should just buy them outright and incorporate those characters into their shared universe.
Yeah, I agree.
Or
If not,
even maybe even better, have like image buy them.
yeah, exactly.
I don't know
I
which
agree.
studio you would have work on the title. Honestly, Skybound could work.
I could see Robert Kirkman. I could see Robert Kirkman doing some good stories with Bloodshot and Exo Manowar. To be honest with you, so I mean, look, if I don't think Jeff Johns writes anymore, does he? Because if DC bought
Yeah,
Valiant, he
he
does.
just did that Flashpoint sequel,
Okay.
Flashpoint Beyond,
Okay.
and that led into the new Golden Age, where he is writing a new Justice Society of America book, and he also did a Stargirl miniseries alongside it.
Oh, okay. Okay. So there you go. See, I
I
think
have
that.
not read any of this, but
Okay. I think if the Valiant universe was brought over to DC, then again, he would be somebody who can. We've seen him do it with the Flash. We've seen him do it with Green Lantern. He's somebody that can treat these characters with care. I think, honestly.
I actually just finished reading the main Rebirth type DC Rebirth written by Johns, and
Okay.
the Doomsday Clock, which is kind of like the unofficial Watchmen sequel.
Right. How did you enjoy
And
that?
I loved it. It fixed a lot of the problems I had had with DC. Especially, I hated the New 52 because I was buying books monthly. And then all of a sudden, it's like, yeah, all that stuff you've invested in, it's gone. Now there's this new thing going forward. And I really didn't like some of the Batman and the Green Lantern titles were solid from the jump, but the Superman books were a mess, and I didn't like Justice League. So I just stopped buying it for a long time. Started buying them again when I saw them for cheap at the dollar store.
Yeah.
And the whole Rebirth era fixed everything that I did not like about 52, New 52.
Yeah. I haven't read
It kept all the stuff that had happened, but it just brought back older concepts. Like, hey, the Teen Titans aren't new. They were actually around for a while, and they were started by like Nightwing and Wonder Girl and Kid Flash.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't read too many of the Rebirth titles, but I did hear that it did that it was solid from the get go, and did the same thing like you just said. Batman was probably the best title when it came to New 52. And you know how I feel about Superman, so I'm not going to touch on
Oh,
that.
easily.
Superman, my favorite. All right, I'm going to have to end the stream soon because actually I work. You know what the funny thing is? I work at 3 o'clock, so I'm going to have to end the stream soon. But I definitely want to do this again with you,
Oh, so
Spoony.
you
For sure.
probably have to start.
getting ready soon then. Yeah, but I definitely want to do this again, Spoony. Did you still want to? Do you still want to go live next Saturday together?
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah, we'll figure that out later. Maybe we can also
A
work on a
better
bigger
setup for
setup for
this.
this.
Yeah. Apologize for today, I really do. But yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Oh yeah. There we go. I forgot one last one that I want to talk that I said I want to go check out was Conan: Battle of the Black Stone. That one I want to check out too.
Yes, that looks amazing. Just the cover art alone on that one.
Yeah. Conan, man, those Frank Frazetta paintings, man, are just to this day to me like such fucking amazing paintings. Like,
Yeah,
you
you
never have too much
following the
Sorry.
Franzetaverse?
No, I'm not. I'm not. I
Oh,
picked it
okay.
up last year for Free Comic Book Day, but I have got so much going off my pull that If I
Yeah.
start adding more, it's just gonna add on to the expenses. So, but maybe I'll check it out eventually. Maybe if I can find a collected edition, a graphic novel, maybe I'll check that out.
Now,
All
is
right.
it being published by Marvel?
No, it's Titan Comics now. Actually, Marvel doesn't own Conan anymore, which is funny.
Didn't they get the Conan rights for a while there, or they lost them again?
Yeah, they relaunched Conan before the pandemic. So I think back in 2019 or 2018, they got the rights to Conan. I don't know what happened, and then last year Titan started putting out Conan books. So I don't know the story fully behind what happened with Conan and Marvel, but yep, Conan doesn't publish more.
Maybe it's like Marvel and Star Wars. They realize they don't know how to do it, and they let Dark Horse start publishing Star Wars again.
Yep, exactly. Yep. Yeah.
Hey, they still make money, so who cares?
Yeah, exactly. I'm not a big fan of the Marvel Star Wars comics, though, to be quite honest with you. So I love Star Wars, but I'm not a fan of that specific comic book. So.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. By the way, before I get out of here, I'm working on that Mummies Alive first episode review. Everybody voted, and they all want to see Mummies Alive, so I'm working on it. All right. Anything you want to add before we get out of here for the day, Spoonie?
No, just that this was a lot of fun, and I hope that we can do this again soon.
Yeah, definitely. If you guys want to see us do this again, put some likes, and yeah. Thank you for those of you who joined us today on the live stream. If you guys are, whoever's watching, if you guys are going to Free Comic Book Day tomorrow, have a lot of fun. Be safe. I'm going to film my adventure tomorrow, and that video will probably be up next Friday because it always takes me a little bit of time to edit, especially since I work. But yeah, enjoy your weekend with your wife, Spoonie. But I'll probably be texting you, so. Alrighty, guys, have a good one.
See ya.